In the year 1842, deep in the heart of Georgia's cotton country, one woman ruled her land like a queen without a king. Her name was Elellanena Whitfield, and her plantation stretched farther than the eye could follow, endless rows of white cotton shining under the southern sun. But behind the tall white columns and polite Sunday smiles, Elellanena carried an idea that would stain her family's name forever. When her husband, Thomas Whitfield, died suddenly from fever, Elellanena inherited everything: the land, the money, and more than 200 enslaved people. Neighbors whispered that no woman should control such a massive estate alone, but Elellanena paid them no mind. She believed the Whitfields were meant for greatness, that their blood was stronger, purer, chosen by God Himself. And so she made it her purpose to keep that power alive, even if it meant twisting every law of nature and morality to do it. Every night she sat by the fire in her husband's study, staring at his old account books and a cracked portrait of her 5 daughters. Each girl was pale, pale and lovely, but Elellanena saw a flaw. "They have my grace," she would whisper, "but not his strength." To her, strength meant control, command, dominance. And slowly, quietly, she became obsessed with finding a way to shape her bloodline into something stronger. Life on the Whitfield plantation moved like clockwork, at least on the surface. The enslaved worked from sunrise until the CI. Chaos went quiet at dusk. Overseers shouted, cotton gins clanged, and Elellanena watched it all from her balcony, cold and unmoving as stone. Among the workers was one man who stood apart. His name was Josiah. He was taller than the others, broad in the shoulders, silent, with a steady gaze that unsettled men twice his size. He had been sold from Virginia years earlier, taught just enough to read Scripture, and known for a calm that made overseers uneasy. When Elellanena first noticed him, it was not kindness or desire that stirred her. It was calculation. She said nothing that day, but her eyes lingered longer than they should have. That night, whispers moved through the quarters. "Miss Elellanena been asking about that tall one," said an old woman named Ruth. Another shook her head. "Ain't no good ever come from a white lady's long stare." The rumors grew. By the next month, Elellanena ordered the overseer to move Josiah closer to the main house. Lighter duties, fewer hours in the fields, always within sight. She claimed it was because he was dependable, but everyone knew nothing Elellanena Whitfield did was without reason. Late one evening, while the house slept, Elellanena stood before her mirror, candlelight showing the fine lines beginning to form on her face. Her eldest daughter, Mary Ann, was nearing 17, the same age Elellanena had been when she married. "The Whitfield name must not fade," she whispered. "I will build something stronger, something perfect." She touched her husband's faded portrait. "You failed to give me a son," she murmured. "I will finish what you could not." The plan was already taking shape. The next morning Josiah was summoned to the main house. He stood before her, sweat still clinging to his skin from the heat. Elellanena studied him carefully. "From now on," she said evenly, "you work under my direction. The overseer answers to me." Josiah nodded but did not speak. Behind his calm eyes something flickered. Unease, perhaps fear. The summer of 1843 came heavy and hot. The air itself felt thick, like it was waiting. Elellanena called Josiah to the veranda. She sat in a high-backed chair, waving a lace fan, her daughters watching from behind the curtains. "You are Josiah," she said. "Yes, ma'am. I'm told you are strong, obedient." She leaned forward. "You will work near the house. You will do exactly as I say." To anyone else, it sounded like favor. To Josiah, it sounded like a warning. That night, Ruth spoke quietly to him. "Ain't no safety in a white woman's attention." Josiah remembered Virginia, his wife, his child, sold away, lost. He had sworn never again. Still the mistress watched. She ordered him to repair the roof, to serve wine at supper, to carry messages through the halls. Her eyes followed his every movement. "Strong hands," she said once. "Hands that could shape the future." Marianne dropped her spoon. From then on, Josiah became a shadow in the house. The daughters grew silent. The servants whispered. Every night, Elellanena wrote in her black leather journal, "The new Whitfield line will rise from strength." One evening, a new visitor came to the plantation. The preacher's daughter, Eliza Hale, sent to bring church notices. She noticed the silence, the way servants avoided the house, the way Elellanena watched Josiah. Eliza said nothing, but unease followed her home. One night, Josiah finally spoke. "Ma'am, what you're asking ain't right." Elellanina's face hardened. "You belong to this house, every part of you." "No, ma'am," he replied quietly. "No one owns my soul." From that moment her interest turned to fury. Marianne confronted her mother. "At what cost?" "At any cost," Elellanena answered. She dressed her daughters in white, spoke of destiny, measured blood like property. Marianne read the journal. "Josiah will be the vessel of renewal." She ran to Ruth. "She's lost her mind. He done sold her soul," Ruth said softly. The night of the ceremony came. Candles burned low, curtains were drawn, white dresses glowed in the dark. "It's time," Elellanena said. "No," Marianne answered. Josiah stepped forward. "This house ain't holy." Something cracked inside Elellanena. That night they ran. Rain poured, thunder roared, dogs barked, shots rang out. Josiah fought back, wounded but standing. They reached the river, it raged, they crossed together. Lightning flashed. Elellanena watched from the trees, frozen and hollow. By morning, the plantation stood quiet. The bodies were never found. Elellanena vanished soon after. Her Bible lay open. Be not deceived. God is not mocked. The house decayed. Owners fled. Voices were said to rise with the storms. They say the widow still walks the halls.